Would you believe that there are houses in Toronto that are cubed, Corinthian, and even cut to half their size? Come meep along with us as we go on this bizarre architectural journey to find these hidden gems. Hello, Meepers! This all started when we were researching what to do when we were going to visit Toronto. James and I like to go to new places and venture off that beaten path, see things that aren't traditionally touristy. This is our third and final Toronto video from our Toronto series. If you missed us dining out in the dark at Au Noir or visiting all the shoes at Bata Shoe Museum, you should check them out because they're pretty cool. I stumbled across an article of funky houses. Once I stumbled down that rabbit hole, I stayed down there.
You were deep in the hole.
I was deep in the hole. We ended up checking out 6 different and unique houses around the Toronto area. We also visited another strange, unique, funky little place, different from anywhere we've ever been before. So stick around if you want to find out what that is. We want to mention that these houses are private residences. People live there, they own this property. We just took some pictures and video from the sidewalk. We didn't take pictures inside or out back. All right, on to our houses adventure. The first house we decided to check out is called the Half House. And I think when you see it, you'll understand that it is aptly named. The story behind this house, in the late 1800s and early 1900s, they were building these houses in a way that this was half of a house, and then this was the other half of a house. So you'd have one roof that shared sort of structural wall in between. What ended up happening over time, there were some aggressive developers that came through the area and offered quite a bit of money to sell these houses. Over time, basically all of those families caved and decided to sell until this house was left. One half decided, you know what, we're gonna sell. But the other half, nah, we don't want to sell. So what they did is they split the house literally down the middle in order to break apart and demolish the house that was being sold and keep the house that didn't want to sell. So that's the story of the Half House, which I think is so different and fun and unique and strange.
Lots of architectural engineering and safety precautions had to take place.
Yes, and it's the only one of those houses from that time period that is still standing today. The next day, we started our journey anew for our second house, the Dollhouse. The Dollhouse is located in the Leslieville neighborhood of Toronto. This is a really cute area, some cute little houses and well-tended gardens. And then suddenly you come across a house and a garden that looks very different from all the other ones. The way it started is the owner decided, hey, I'm gonna just start decorating. Over the years, it just spread, and now it is known as the Dollhouse. When looking at this house, it was just a slew of toys and history and pop culture and references that almost make you feel nostalgic.
Oh, check this out, it's Blockbuster.
Our youth. There are a ton of toys and frisbees and tchotchkes and a whole bunch of stuff. M&Ms, Han Solo, Barbie, Shrek. There was a T-Rex that was in there that was my favorite.
I found John Cena from WWE.
You did indeed. This stuff is outside and it isn't covered, so it loses its color. One that was very upfront that we noticed right away had lost its eyes. This doll is staring at you, but it has no eyes. That was a little creepy.
That was more on the creepy side than fun creepy.
So that was the Dollhouse, the second house that we went and saw. Thought it was really cool. If you go check out these houses, please be respectful. It's not your property. Make sure you don't trespass. Don't touch stuff. Don't be a creeper.
Be a Meeper, not a creeper.
Be a Meeper, not a creeper. The next house we went to was the Cube House. And this is located on Sumac Street. Architecturally, this is probably one of the ones that I thought was the strangest. It's not really pedestrian friendly. Getting there isn't impossible, it's just there's like an overpass highway, there's a big highway along the side. So just keep that in mind if you want to go check it out. This Cube House was built in the mid-90s. 2 Canadian architects that were inspired by a Dutch city called Rotterdam. It's kind of like 3 cubes that are assembled together. There is a residential unit and then 2 commercial units. Who would live in a cube? I don't know. Apparently someone did or does currently. But you could also have a commercial spot. Imagine if your business was inside this cube.
Bizarre.
Very bizarre indeed. Also, if you want to see the Cube House, apparently a developer bought it for millions of dollars, and it looks like the Cube House is kind of in flux currently. So if you want to see the Cube House, you should probably go soon. It might not be there in a year or two. We were really glad we went to check out the Cube House. It's not in a residential area, so it's not, look at all these cute little gardens, and then a strange house. So it's not in the same sort of tier or vibe as the other houses, but it's totally worth going to check out, especially since it might not be around in, a couple years. The next day was supposed to be when we were checking out, but when we woke up, we found out our flight was canceled. Thankfully, we were still at the hotel. They had another room available. We checked into that room. We're like, okay, what are we gonna do for the rest of the day? Now we're gonna see some houses and do some things that weren't on our original itinerary, but we got an extra day, so we're gonna fit in some more houses. Our fourth house is the Little House. We picked it because it was in another area we'd never been in. This house was so cute. I really loved this house.
This is the smallest house in Toronto, just over 300 square feet and about 6 feet wide. You won't really be able to do jumping jacks.
It is really tiny. It's such a tiny little house. The Little House was built by a man named Arthur Whedon in the early 1900s. He ended up seeing this alleyway and was like, I want to build there. So he did. What did you think when you first saw it?
Super cute, larger than many Manhattan apartments.
Yeah, probably, actually.
Even had a slight dollhouse feel to it. Not the dollhouse we saw earlier, a dollhouse in a more traditional sense.
Imagine if this house had a baby with a dollhouse.
Little tiny dollhouse, Barbie's dream.
When you're looking at all the other houses, you're like, oh, look at these houses, look at this house. And then, boom, little tiny house in a little alley, and then the rest of the houses, and they keep going. This one I thought was just really cute. It pleased me just because it was so compact. So the fifth house is called the Wood Cake House. It's called that because it's generally covered in a lot of those sort of wooden crafting pucks that are called wood cakes. It's not cake you can eat. If it were an actual cake, I might have eaten it and there'd be no house that you could go see. Similar to the dollhouse, it's decorated and covered in the same glass gems and tchotchkes and other things like that.
Oh, there's a cat thing, I think. Yeah. It's like making a tongue at us.
There was also another T-Rex. I love a good dinosaur. The story behind this house is apparently the owner had a spinal injury in the 90s, and while they were recovering, they wanted a hobby. Thought, oh, I'll decorate the mailbox. I'll decorate this terrace. And they decorated everything, the whole fence, the whole yard, the house, even their van. We didn't see the van. We found out that they've covered their van. That seemed like it would be a really cool bonus. We wish we had it for you, but they were probably out wood caking something.
I was today years old when I learned that wood caking is a verb.
I made it one. Neighbors and tourists like to come by and appreciate. You should go check it out. But again, from afar, be a meeper, not a creeper. Before our final house, we decided to go somewhere that was a little different, a little funky. And this is the Poop Cafe. This cafe isn't too far from the Wood Cake House, and also from our final house. The history behind the Poop Cafe is that the owner visited a toilet-themed restaurant on a trip to Asia, and they thought it would be fun to open one in Toronto. I gotta say, it's very well themed. Everything is poop emoji, and you walk in, the wall is covered in happy little poops and swimming happy little poops. Even the seats are like old toilets. And then your food is served to you in these porcelain toilet serving bowls. The food itself, it just looks really pretty in a poopy way. It's very prettily presented. It looks so nice. If you want a dessert and you're near the Poop Cafe, you should go because it's a really different kind of experience. When have you ever been to a Poop Cafe? And their desserts were actually really good.
They were.
Beautiful food if you think that poop can be beautiful.
Anything can be beautiful.
Anything can be beautiful. So yes, we went to the Poop Cafe. We recommend you go. We had a great time. So it's in that area by the Wood Cake House and our final house. The final house is the Greek House. This house is one of the first ones that I actually found when I was researching funky, different, unique things for Toronto. The Greek House popped up in an article and I was like, oh, this is the Greek House. This is the Greek house. This house, it isn't just decorated to look Greek. It was built to look Greek. So the architecture of this house actually looks Hellenistic and Greek. Even the driveway and the gate and the presentation and the stairs is meant to stand out and be like, hello, I am Greek. Greek everywhere. All of this house is on theme. According to our research, the patriarch about 30-ish years ago built this house and now maintains it, trims it up, and spruces up the paint regularly.
You can tell they put a lot of money and time and care.
If you're on the right street, you will find it. It is not a house that is meant to blend in or hide. We loved the Greek house, really cool. The vibes it was putting out, I was picking them up, I was digging it. Very stereotypically, my big fat Greek wedding, this is this house.
Loud and proud, in a good way.
Very much so. This is another video for our Introvert series. These houses are private residences. There's no ticket, there's no line. You can enjoy it from the public space of a sidewalk. If you are an introvert and you don't like crowds, or if you are on a budget, this is free, aside from how much it might cost for an Uber ride to get there. And because they're relatively quick, you can fit in a lot of them into your trip. If that sounds like it's right up your alley, then great, especially because one of these houses was actually built in an alley.
It's not too dissimilar from checking out Halloween displays or Christmas holiday lights displays.
Yeah, it's a really good analogy. So those were all the houses that we checked out in Toronto. We're glad that we had that extra day. We fit in the wood cake and the little house, and the Greek house, and the poop cafe. When life gave us lemons, we ate the lemons, which was awesome. So that was our Funky Houses video, and the last video from our Toronto series. Thank you so much for watching. We've got some other awesome, interesting stuff kind of cooking up in the works. So if you're interested, stick around, stay tuned. We've got more good stuff to come. Also, you should check out our socials. If you liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And until next time, happy meeping!